So two things started to happen around this time, if I've got this right. Your career actually became kind of interesting. You became a CIO of an energy company in Princeton. Yep. We have a couple of the folks here today who worked for you before. They don't have to raise your hand, but we'll have a tearful reunion. And then also the FBI was on to you right around that time.
Right.
Joe from the
yeah, the FBI was.
But you didn't know it.
No, the FBI found me 9 years after I resigned. And that was because there was a defection. Somebody who worked in the archives at the KGB defected and smuggled a whole bunch of material.
Had your name.
Had my name. And
well, tell them where the name came from, Jack Barsky.
Jack Barsky was a young man who died at the age of 10, and some Russian diplomat found the gravestone in Maryland, just outside of D.C. And that's typically how the Russians stole, the Soviets stole identities. You know, take somebody who passed very early, and they managed to get the birth certificate. So I became that person. Yep. And so the FBI found me, and literally they took 3 years to investigate me because they didn't know. They knew one thing, that I was a well-trained agent. I was undercover, I was a well-trained agent, so they had no idea was I still, was I a sleeper, was I still in operations. And in those days, they had two really, really very damaging cases. One in the CIA and one in the FBI, Aldrich James and Robert Hansen. And they were both insiders. They did phenomenal damage. And they were worried that I was running one of those guys. It's sort of, in hindsight, it's ridiculous. I was taking care of my family. I was commuting 1.5 hours to my job. I had no, I forgot that I had ever been an undercover agent. And here I was, the #1 case in counterintelligence with the FBI.
And they'd actually bought the house next to yours.
They bought the house next to me.
And took up bird watching as a...
Were they good neighbors?
They never introduced themselves.
Using broad, soft phones, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, they did bug my house, and that's how I finally wound up. And I was telling my wife, and there was an altercation, and I sort of lifted the kimono a little bit, and I said, you know what I sacrificed to be with you guys, blah, blah, blah. That was my secret weapon, the nuclear option. Backfired in 2 ways. She just got scared, and the FBI had my confession on tape. Just to finish that up, Joe Riley, who was the secret agent, the special agent who in charge of the operation, is the godfather of my last child.
He's retired.
He's retired, right? And we played a lot of golf together.